Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing the end of year tag because strangely enough 2020 is about to end and it's been a year. It's been a year filled with so many different things, so many changes, so many books, so many adventures inside our books, so many adventures in real life. It's been a year for me, and I felt like it would be really interesting to just sit down with you guys, go over a few of the most common questions done in these tags, and just have some chill, nice time to talk, chit chat, enjoy yourselves, all that, those good things, just to kind of round up this entire year and just see how it went, basically. If you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe and like this video, and also follow me on Instagram and TikTok, especially TikTok because that's where I'm most active, okay? So without further ado, let's jump into the questions we have for this little end of year tag. First of all, we have the most disappointing book. I read over 120 books this year, and to be completely honest with you, there were quite a few that disappointed me. First off, we have Rhapsodic from Laura Talassa, and I'm not gonna get too into this book because honestly, I feel like I will start to fume and start to be angry again because it frustrated me to no end. It just gave me the ick, to be completely honest with you. In this book, we follow this young girl that kills her step-parent and tries to get away with it, and so she makes a bargain with this like bargainer dude, this like very dark fae, and you know, he helps her escape and helps her go to this boarding school. And so then we fast forward and we meet this girl, real life, adult, whatever, but we keep going back in time to see how her relationship with this bargainer ends up developing. And it gets yuckier the more you read, and I wanted to DNF the book so bad. I wanted to see how bad this became because it was getting worse and worse and worse, and I was just getting the ick. First of all, she's a teenager. She's like 17, like 16, I think. And she's an adult at 16 because she's a magical being in this world. It's like, oh, that's very convenient when you have like a hundreds, maybe 1,000-year-old fae that is literally grooming her. Yeah, the big G, yeah. And he even knows what type of underwear this 16-year-old has. And literally, look, they ended up not doing anything, but it wasn't because he saw the light and chose not to. There were other factors into play. Actually, he chose the quite opposite. He was just about to pounce on her. So, you know what? Ick. Major ick. Oh, another one was A Silent Patient. If you've been watching my videos, whether on TikTok or YouTube, you already know I've been raving about these two books, but like, The Silent Patient was just... it was a disaster. When it was a complete disaster. And this was like, I got so angry because also I was traveling in Japan. I was enjoying my time reading whilst in Japan, and this motherfucking book jumps into me like, what are you doing here? Like, I was so angry. We follow basically like this woman that she's in this psych ward and she's crazy and she's being stalked and she's writing in her diary all of these things. But then at the same time, we follow the doctor that's trying to treat her, and she is nonverbal. She just, refuses to talk. She doesn't say anything to anyone, and he's trying to get through to her. And then it's just a lot of this stupid ass psychobabble that is very like psychoanalysis kind of thing, Freudian, right? And Freudian psychology to me is rather ridiculous. Like, I feel like it does have some foundation to it, but the way they just sexualize everything, and the way it's like they try to dig and dig and dig and dig, and oftentimes the person does not need you to dig that far, you know, and they try to go to the core issue, like to the minuscule moment in your childhood that made you the person. Like, you don't often need to go that deep and re-traumatize the person to fix something in the present. This book was just so psychobabbly. I was flabbergasted. My gasses were flabbered, okay, because it sounded ridiculous. It's how, like, the more I read, I was like, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. And then the ending it was a nice plot twist, but I was just like, you know what, I'm sick and tired of this. Like, I don't like you. I don't like the character. I just wasn't for it. And also, like, if you're this psychopath that is so smart and intelligent, whatever, how do you get caught so easily? So stupidly too? Yeah, right, sure. Oh, another book that really disappointed me, but this one, I think I got it as an e-arc, if I'm not mistaken, was The Unseen Hour. This book, it's a whole thing. So in this book, like on I think it's the 31st of December, I think midnight, 31st of December, once you cross into the new year, there's this like 1 hour between midnight and 1, something like that, where you cannot be out and about. You have to have all your doors locked or your windows locked. You have to be hidden because people disappear. They completely disappear, and then they show up the next day like either dead or no body is found. And this girl lost her dad for this, but but her dad was investigating this whole unseen hour thing and trying to understand what is going on. And so she's going to redo the investigation, trying to go into whatever happens to these people and save her father. And this takes her to like an in-between worlds, in-between death kind of world, like limbo. And there's all of these things going on with the gods in limbo, and there's multiple different types of gods for different things, whatever. And she finds a person there, and that person is connected to the investigation her father was doing. And like, they just start, getting to know each other. But the thing with this book was, it was disappointing. The relationship was meh. The actual book just stopped. Like, it had a good foundation to be a good book, but the story just didn't evolve. Nothing truly happened. The few obstacles were very easy to surpass. It was boring. It bored the living crap out of me. It was boring. It didn't have some sustenance. And then the ending was just like, really? And it had everything to be good, and then the author shot themselves on the foot. Oh, another book that disappointed me was Jade City, but that is on me. It's totally high fantasy, and just the writing of it was not my cup of tea, and it was too high fantasy, too political, too much of that. And I think it has all the ingredients to be good, but just the style of writing, the style of telling the story. But I do think it's like a positive disappointment, right? It's like, okay, I was disappointed, but not because it sucked, because I do see why people think it's a 5 stars, right? Why people love it so much. But I just figured it wasn't for me. I didn't enjoy it. I had to force myself to read it. So it's just not a for me thing. But I was a bit disappointed, to be fair. I thought I was gonna love it. Well, but yeah. I already took my time answering this question, so let's go into the next question, which is an underhyped book. The Aspect of Essence. The whole Alpine Archives series is so underhyped. It's a typical romancy, right? It's a typical romancy, and I will say the first book is my least favorite of all of them. So far we have 3, if I'm not mistaken, and it's definitely my least favorite of all of them. But the story is so good, the characters are so good, like all of them, like the main characters, the side characters, all of them, you end up loving them so much. And romancy-wise, it's very complex. The relationships between them, the magical abilities as well are very interesting. And the way like bonds are created and forged and unforged and all of that, the way it works in this world, very interesting. You also can tell that the world itself has a lot of depth, a lot of story, a lot of history, a lot more to it that we're still trying to figure out. And it's like, the author decided to put everything into this, and oftentimes when that happens, I'm like, yeah, you can try to do a little less, would have been better, but in this case, it's so good, so good. So we follow this girl, and she's half human, half fae, and there's also this guy in the fae realm. And so the faes have been tricking the humans and like mixing their bloods with the humans, because the humans are a lot more fertile than the fae, because the fae have been going through this disease thing that makes them less fertile. It's a whole thing, but they've been mixing around with the humans to make babies, and one of these babies is this girl. And so now the Fae want to fight this enemy, these like zombie-like enemies, and they go and recruit the humans, the half human, half Fae, and bring them to their world and start teaching them magic that these humans didn't even know existed, mind you. They didn't know they had abilities. And so they go into this academy trying to learn, their abilities and all of that. But there's a lot more to the story when it comes to the zombies. There's a lot more to the story when it comes to some tragedies that happened in the past for the male character. There's also another male character that initially you might think maybe this is the one. He's not. He's the best friend, and he's so cool. He's also like, there's so much trauma that goes on as well. And then the whole relationships between the characters, they're very like, it's not monogamous, it's not heteronormative, it's like, it's everything in a mix, and you just start like falling in love with these characters and wanting them to fall in love with each other. And it's a whole thing. There's things in these books that I'm like, I'm not typically a person that would enjoy this, but it's just so cool. Look, I'm telling you, it is one of my new favorite romancy series. It's really, really good, and it's so underhyped. Like, you barely hear people talking about this. It's so good. The next question is some overhyped books, and I'm on Book Talk a lot, and let's be honest, like, overhyped books is like, a dime a dozen. But I want to see what would be my like overhyped books, like to the point where I was like not disappointed, but it was like, okay, it's good, but like it wasn't whoa, you know? Okay, we can go for the obvious, which is Silver Elite. Come on. It was so overhyped when it came out. People were raving about it, going crazy about it, and I started reading it. I read it really quickly too. It is kind of sort of ish dystopian, but I couldn't connect with the main character. I hated her. Like, she is so freaking annoying. Like, the main character is the most annoying little brat. I don't know, like, dude, I don't know. She's so annoying. Like, she would complain so much, and she was like, please save me, please save me, please save me. It's like, annoying little brat. I really didn't like her at all. And then there were a few things here and there that made me a little bit yucked. You know, it just gave me the ick, and I paused, but then I just kept reading. And I was just like, okay, it stayed in the back of my mind. I didn't think too hard about it, but it stayed in the back of my mind. And then, like, I read this, and like a day later, controversy jumps out, and I'm like, oh, okay. And I saw the arguments, and I was like, you know what? Those were the same arguments that people were making, were these moments where it just stuck to me, like the mention of the concentration camps as hotels, almost like, girl, like, I don't think, you know what dystopian means, and how like fighting the system is. And then also like the whole making it so that like we could understand the position of the person that's in the military, that even though they don't like the system, they see themselves obligated to join, and then they kind of, it starts growing on them. Like, excuse you, are we supposed to be on the side of the Nazis? Is that your argument here? Like, it doesn't it gave me the ick so bad. So bad. And I remember, like, I mentioned this in a vlog or a wrap up or something like that, but it gave me the ick so bad. And it's just, I really can't. There's so many things. I will say the one thing I did enjoy about that book was the ADHD representation, because you could definitely tell the characters had ADHD. It's like, I like that part, but you know, the silver lining, I guess. The only silver lining in the entirety of the book. Next question is a book that surprised you. I feel like there were a few like little series that were surprising to me, just because I thought they would be like their typical YA series, like trilogies or duologies, that I thought I was going to like them, but I didn't quite realize how much I was going to like them, you know, like I was gonna get hooked on them. So a simple example would be Crier's War. I was pleasantly surprised with how much I liked it. Or A Tempest of Tea, for example. But like a book that truly surprised me was The Ragpicker King. And this is mainly because The Swordcatcher was kind of underwhelming for me, because I felt like it was setting up for something. Truly, the book itself wasn't whoa, but I felt like every single part was coming together, like an intro. Like, let's smooth things out for you, ease you into the story that's coming. And for me, The Ragpicker King was going to be one of two things, either perfection or a gigantic flop. And I was actually surprised that it actually was worth it, because I was thinking it was going to be a flop. You would really need to do like a full 360 to make this work. And she did it. I don't know why I doubted Cassandra Clare too, like, because she's an amazing author, so I should have known. I should have never doubted her, but she just did a full 360. It all came together in the most perfect, luscious, amazing way. Everything I wanted in that book became a reality. That's why it's one of my 5 stars of this year, because I barely have any 5 stars this year, like barely. And this is one of my 5 stars because it was perfection. I wouldn't have added anything. I wouldn't have removed anything. It was perfect. Like, I loved this book so much. I binged it completely. It was perfection. So I was pleasantly surprised, because it was one of a kind. I loved it so much. Okay, next up we have favorite indie book. I added this question myself. I don't know if other people have responded, but because I have started reading a lot more indie books this year, not as many as I would like to be honest, I wanted to include this because there is one book that I absolutely fell in love with, and I've been raving about it 100%, and I always will advise you to read this book, and it's The Stargazer Salvation. This book is everything. First of all, the writing is impeccable. Like, this author, she actually had a deal for this book, and it fell through. Also, she had a few family issues in the mix, and no one wanted to pick it back up, and so she launched it herself, and it didn't go well, so she stopped, and then she relaunched it. And I was like, you know what, I got the book for like the Kindle app, and I also got the book, like the physical copy. I have it back home because I wanted to support her because she writes so well. Like, I've seen literally published authors with God knows how many books published traditionally that write not even a third as well as this woman does. Like, her writing is impeccable. It's amazing. It's luscious. It's so good. She writes so well. I was flabbergasted from the first page. Like, it's so good. And the story is very good. We follow this character. She is the princess of this like world. And this world is very unique. Like, it's basically like our solar system. And they worship the goddess Sol, which is like the sun, basically, and they all have magical abilities, but it depends on which planet you come from in the solar system. So the people from Venus, the people from Mars, the people from Jupiter, they're all different. They have different styles, they have different powers, they have different like societies. Like, some are of like planets that are mainly like agricultural planets, others are more like fashion and textile, others are more military. You have like, it's a whole society, but instead of different countries or regions, you have different planets, and it's very interesting. And we follow her. She goes into this like military academy that her mother didn't want her to go, the queen, and she just fights for a position, and she's fighting against her mom. And you go through and you see her trauma, you see her connect with her friends, and you get to know a little bit more about her friends. And also this MMC shows up. There's also love triangle, mind you, but like, it's not love triangle, true love triangle. It's more of like, you have the ex best friend that she was always interested in, and he's getting jealous, and there's a whole backstory. There's backstabbing, there is secrets, there is background story to this. Like, you can tell that it was very well developed and worked through, and just the characters themselves are so great. Like, I love this book so much. Like, I was obsessed with it. So honestly, this is my favorite indie book I've read all year, and I've read quite a few that like were really, really good, especially when it comes to romance and stuff. So trust me when I tell you, chef's kiss for this book. I love this book so much. It's definitely my favorite indie. I do have a question here, which is an author that didn't work out, and I'm gonna say Laura Thalassa for obvious reasons. You know, having into account my whole thing with Rhapsodic, like, it's just not my thing. It's not working for me. It was a disaster, a complete and utter disaster, and it's yuck, yuck. It was no. Next question is a popular book I did not like. Off the top of my head, I would say Heartless Hunter. And the thing is, initially I did like it, but the miscommunication in this book, no. So it was very much overhyped. And not that it didn't have a good story to it, but it's a very simplistic YA. And it was hyped to be so much more. And the miscommunication trope, no. And the second book, especially the second book, that one is for me the one I hate, because I should have read just the first book and ignored the other one. When your entire plot is miscommunication and then a sprinkle of other things, no thank you. Like, it is my most hated trope of all time. So no, I hate it. I was just like, no. Oh, another popular book series that I'm not really enjoying is the House of Devil series. It's so popular. Everyone fucking loves this series. But to me, I'm also coming to the conclusion that like urban fantasy is not my thing. It's not my favorite thing of all time. I cannot think of like fantasy and telephones at the same time. It's just, I don't know. But it had all the ingredients to be really good. I just don't enjoy it. I think it's the pacing mainly, but this is also another series that I'm like not liking it. I'm still listening to it, but just because like I wouldn't be able to read these, like genuinely would not be able to read these, and I'm like listening on and off occasionally. I still have the last book. I read the first 3. I have the last book to listen to. I don't even know if there's an audiobook because I haven't even had the inkling to go look. It's been over a month now since I last finished the last book, and it's just I have no inkling to go read the next one. So next we have an unpopular book that you actually did like. It's Leave Me Behind. Not because I saw a lot of hate to this, but just because I saw a lot of people like, oh, what is this? I don't like this. This is a bully woman, whatever. I'm gonna be honest, it's not the type of romance that I would love because I don't like a bully. I really don't. And the fine line between consent and non-consent is not typically my favorite thing, but it was hot. Not the non-consent part. I didn't love that part. There's a few scenes in this thing I'm like, dang, I'm okay, but it's purely a smut book. I wouldn't say it's a fancy or a military romance, whatever. No, it's purely smut. And this is like set in a military situation where it's like black ops, and you have this girl that she's about to join this new team, and turns out her team got all killed off. She was the only one that survived because someone backstabbed them, and because this team was backstabbed, the other team lost one of their key players, and so they blame her, and so she gets bullied and mistreated, and she's a woman also among boys, so boys club, obviously there's a lot of bullying, a lot of harassment, a lot of like yuck, but then this one dude is just attracted to her and whatever. And it gets really sexy at some point, but at the same time, it was, yeah. So because of the yuck, a lot of people reacted really badly to it. I enjoyed it. I was surprisingly engrossed into this book, even though there were parts I was like, excuse you, what the hell? And I don't like bully. I realized I don't like bully. But the ending was shit. So it lowered, like, it was gonna be like 4 stars for me. I think I gave it like 3 stars or 3.5 because of the ending. The ending ruined the whole book, but I feel like this is the one book that I can like say that I've heard a lot of people say like shit and just talking shit about it and not really liking it, but I actually enjoyed it. So next question is favorite new release. I read a lot of new releases this year, and I still have a few to go. I still haven't read Brimstone. I still haven't read like Immortal Dark's like second book. Like I have a list of new releases that I haven't read yet, but my favorite new release of all time has to be Dark Mirror. And this is the last book that came out in the Bone Season series. I love this series. This is one of my favorite fantasy series. I love it to pieces. I just love Paige and Arcturus, and it's just the whole world. It's very dystopian. So if you want real dystopian, like actual real dystopian, with clairvoyant type magic system and a constant battle against the system that is really, really hard battle. It's not one of those dystopians that are easy to take down or whatever. No, it's a really hard, tough battle that is involving a lot of things. Like, best dystopian series of all time for me personally, best one. And the last book was finally the culmination that we've been waiting for when it comes to the main characters. Also, it caused me a lot of pain. I sobbed, ugly cried, okay? On fucking camera too, mind you, because I was vlogging the whole thing. So just, you know? And I just loved the living crap out of this book. Like, I really, really loved it. I didn't like the ending as much because it's not where I wanted the story to go to. But this book has tropes that I don't like. One of the main tropes that I absolutely detest. So it took me months to get the courage to read it again, okay? It really did, because of this one trope. And still, I fell in love with it. I loved every second of this book. I liked how everything was coming together. I did notice the changes that were done from the first book to now, okay? I did notice. Okay, and we have a few questions, but I just really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed going back in time. So it might be my nostalgic thing of like, I love this series so much, and this series really helped me when the world was a bit dark. And I read and reread these books. Like, I don't usually reread things, but waiting for the second book and the third book to arrive, I reread the first book twice. It's not something I typically do, so it really moved me at the time, and this is just really special to me. So definitely my favorite new release of this year, definitely. The next question is the most unique concept. I gotta be honest, I did try quite a few unique concepts this year. The Aspect of Essence is one of them. The Touch of Golden Madness is another one. Very unique magical system. The way the magic between the elf types differs is very, very unique. I loved it so much. Ooh, Blood over Brighthaven is also a really unique magical concept, like magical way of things, but just the concept itself and just the important topics it talks about, very unique. I loved the living crap out of that book. Crier's War as well, the duology, is also very unique. It's based on like automatons and humans. So the automatons, like the first automaton was created like real life automaton, and then they evolved, and then there was a war and the automatons took over. The humans are now the slaves, all of that. Like the whole concept of this world and how it all works, and how the science behind the automaton works, very, very, very interesting, very unique. Like one of a kind. Honestly, one of a kind so far, at least for all the books I've read. Very, very, very good. There's the Bone Season as well, like very unique. I reread it this year, so it's technically part of my books from this year, so that's another very unique magical system. I also have A Book You Haven't Stopped Thinking About. Bone Season is always going to be an answer for that. Again, I know. The Rat Picker King as well. Oh, Blood over Brighthaven is another one. I think like the ones that were really 5 stars for me always keep coming back. I always keep coming back to them. The Aspect of Essence, again, like, it's not that there aren't books that didn't touch me, but like, yeah, those 5-star books are important to me, but there isn't anything to the level of like Throne of Glass, for example, where it doesn't matter how long it's been, you keep thinking about it. It's something that you keep going back and forth to. I don't have anything like that, to be completely honest with you. Not right now, and this year, I read a lot of books that I've been wanting to read, a lot of anticipated reads. I have a lot of 4 stars. I have like maybe 10, 4.5, 11, something like that. And then I have like 4 or 5 stars for this year. Like I didn't have a lot of like really good, amazing, whoa books. And I had a lot of disappointments, a lot of them, like I wasn't aware I had so many, but I do have quite a lot of disappointments. And so I don't have anything that I can say like for sure, like, yeah, I've been thinking about this, other than the ones I already mentioned. But those are 5 stars. Those are kind of expected, you know. It's not something that you're like, oh my God, I keep thinking from this. Like, no, it's just books that were impactful and, you know, you're always going to love, so you're always going to think about them. But it's nothing like that no matter how long it's been, you keep going back to, right? I'm going to create a question right now that I didn't have planned, but we did talk about our, the best new release we got. I want to talk about the worst new release I got as well this year. And it is the Primal of Blood and Bone, the From Blood and Ash new book. What in the God's damn fuckery is this? Okay, like oh my God, I can lose my mind. Okay, there's literally a vlog. Okay, when I tell you I lost my marbles with this. Okay, this book drives me insane to like beyond compare, beyond anything. It drives me up the walls. The way Castile and Kieran were acting, why the fuck at one point are we in fucking New York? No, like, I don't understand how you can pick this beautiful series that we all love and adore and just throw it in the trash and light it on fire. How? How can you destroy your own series? Because your characters aren't your characters anymore. That's not how they would typically act. Even after trauma, it's not how they would have acted. Especially not Poppy. Poppy would not be this submissive bitch that she was. There's more questions than answers. Nothing happened the entire book. The book is huge. Like, the book is this thick. Nothing happened in the entirety of the book. Nothing. Like, nothing happened. Nothing. And then the big boss. First of all, why is the big boss so connected to the other series? Because let me tell you, if you're reading From Blood and Ash, haven't read the last one, first of all, I don't recommend it at all. Just end the story there. Forget it exists. But if you haven't read the prequel series, you have to. There's no other way around it. By mere accident, I read it. But if you don't, you won't understand half of what's going on. You really won't. And even for me, sometimes it was confusing. I had to think back at the family tree that is already very confusing in the series, but then add the prequel into the mix, like, forget about it. You still need to finish that whole prequel to be able to understand this one book. Like, fuck off. Your book series should be able to stand alone without having to be intertwined with the other ones. The other ones being intertwined is good information, yes, but I'm telling you, you wouldn't be able to understand the depth and why half of this is happening if you hadn't read the other one. Maybe it's more of a surprise. Maybe you're more like, whoa, oh my God, plot twist, but like, there's a lot you won't understand. A lot of characters you won't really deep the importance and the relevance and why they're acting the way they're acting without having the context. And so it's just like, there's so much bullshit to this, and it's just, I really don't understand. Like, I would rather leave a series incomplete than to fuck up a series so bad. And when I tell you, I was listening to the audiobook because I couldn't read this. I had to listen to it while I was keeping busy because it was driving me insane. At like at least double the speed. It took me 2 hours for them to leave one room. They were in their bedroom for 1 hour, and it wasn't just spicy things. It was a lot happening but 1 hour, 2 hours on 2 times speed for them to leave that one room. Fuck off. And also, it got to a point where I was just sick and tired of the spice. Like, give me substance, not more sex. Like, no. No, we don't need this much sex, bitch. We really don't. There's absolutely no need for this at all. Next question is, what was your worst reading month this year? I think it was November, but I'm going to check, okay? Because I have a little graph, okay? We have a little graph, okay, in our little Bookberry app. And discounting December, because I still have time to compensate for that, it was definitely November. So we have November with 4 books because I had the biggest reading slump while reading one of the books that took me 3 weeks to read that fucking book. It ended up being a December book at that point. So it's 4.5 books. Biggest reading slump. Right after that one, we have February with 7 books. But to be fair, I was working at the time, so it was harder for me to like work full time, and I was very exhausted from that job because it was very mentally exhausting, and then read. So it was just kind of the average at the time. And July was also another month, but I was also heavily slumped. That month it was really tough. At least the first 2 weeks of July were really tough for me. Yeah, November so far has been the worst one, biggest reading slump ever. But it was the book that made me go into a reading slump. But at the same time, I was also busy. Okay, it was a very busy month. It was starting new things, and you know, even though reading wise it was the shittiest month, it was actually one of the good months of this year. You know, was one of the highlights of this year. I did so much, I accomplished so much in this 1 month. I moved countries. I got my very first apartment because I lived on my own before, but it was always sharing apartments with other people. I'm like, no, this is my very first apartment. I started a new job that I'm absolutely loving and adapted to it. I'm adapting to a new country, a new city, like buying things for the house, getting used to the words, and there's a lot of adapting. So, you know, it wasn't the best when it came to reading, but it was pretty good in the overall scene of things for this year. Lastly, how's your reading goal going? A reading goal update. So my reading goal for this year was 100 books, even though I knew I was going to hit 100, okay? So currently, as of filming this video, I'm at 119 books, and the goal was 100, so I technically reached the goal, but I will say I reached the goal at the end of September. So I've reached it for a while now, and I'm not going to increase it because anything after 100, honestly, is just a plus. 100 books a year is a lot, okay? I used to read like just a few books a year, like maybe 10, because it depended on what I was able to afford, and you know, physical books are a lot more expensive than ebooks, obviously. And now that I have the Kobo, I just read so much more. A lot easier to have access to books, and I've just gotten addicted to it. Like, it's insane. Reading a book is always, you know, a pleasure, and so even if I had only read 5, I would be happy. But I reached 119, and I'm pretty proud of myself. The top month of this year was April with 17 books, but I was unemployed, okay? Unemployed, on vacation. All I had to do was read, and that's also when I started posting on TikTok and everything, so I was really reading a lot. I read 101 ebooks, I read 5 audiobooks, and 13 paper books. So, and that's the end of our little video here and our little like chit-chatty end of year book tag thing. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what your favorite books this year were. Have you reached your goals? Have you not? Like, you know, leave a comment down below telling me how this year went for you and how much you're reading, and even if you didn't reach your goal, like how much did you read? Like, that's always very important. And if you're wondering what other books I'm going to be reading this year until the end of the year, go check the video I made of the 10 books I want to read before the end of the year, 10 before the end. Those are books I'm going to be tackling because I thought I would be able to, you know, tackle at least half of that list last month, but I wasn't able to. So those are the books I'm going to read until the end of the year. And yeah, you guys can check that out there as well. And yeah, that's all for me. That's all for me, dudes. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.